If you keep up with gaming announcements and news, you're more than likely already familiar with seeing these games. These small, cozy games designed for simple relaxation. However, a lot of people seem to hold malice whenever these games show up. So that's kind of what I wanted to do today. I wanted to take a look at a couple of these games and see if they're worth being frustrated with or if they have their place. Before going into this, I think that they're fine. Sure, I can enjoy a game like Marvel Rivals, where I need to keep up with like 20 things at once and make sure I never move too far out of position, but not everybody can. I can play Fortnite like if I don't win this match, I will die in real life, but the average person plays like this. I love games that consistently challenge my skill and games that have deep character plot lines, but the average person isn't as tuned in as I am. Games need to be accessible. That's not an opinion, but a fact. The medium of video games casts such a wide net of genres for all ages. Grandma doesn't know the difference between Marth's Sweet Spot and Lucina's all-round but generally weaker gameplay style. There needs to be casual games that exist in the market, and these are just those. Real quick, I'm gonna put this graph on screen. You know what that means, like and subscribe. Let's just grab a nice, cold drink. Lay back and relax as we go through these. Guys, I'm on the set. Get out of here.
We are here to improve your video.
Yeah, you sounded too quiet. I was worried you had finally achieved inner peace or something.
And I wanted to be included in something.
No. This is a relaxing video. You guys gotta go.
But we came all this way.
Does that mean I broke the lock and slashed your tires for nothing?
You blew a hole in my wall! No! And you're paying for damages.
I can't afford that.
Okay, I'm going. Stupid local mind virus.
Alright, let's start off by defining this type of cozy game, because really it's more of something that you add to a game. A cozy game isn't anything, but there are cozy puzzle games, cozy platformers, cozy town builders, cozy fishing games. It's less so a genre and more so a general vibe or collection of games. There are some examples that you're pretty familiar with. Stardew Valley is seen by many as a cozy game. This game is wildly popular, and I'm sure that you probably have some experience with it. Minecraft is also a great example. Although, for me, Minecraft tends to be grass block. One.
Oh my god! Talking about that? We're not going to talk about that.
Well, we try not to let it get too cozy. Animal Crossing is another incredibly popular cozy game that I am extremely confident you're familiar with. Cozy games are very often defined by their easygoing attitude, minimal timers, free reign and control, and a cutesy art style that's all designed to suck you in. The music is slow and calm, the characters are nice and friendly, and the world is pretty and lively. So let's start off this video by talking about a quite popular cozy game, just to set an example. This is a game that's sort of become one of the faces. It's often brought up when discussing these types of games. Unpacking is a simple puzzle game where you unpack. You're presented with boxes and need to find the right way to get everything to fit together. I hate it. I can absolutely understand why people enjoy it, but I'm not exactly a neat person, so this game just got on my nerves more than anything else. However, I don't want to say that it's bad. I really like the art, and the serene background tunes are nice, but I just kind of saw how much stuff I had to organize here, and I just kind of quit out and never felt an urge to go back to it. It's a shame, really. There's this underlying story. You're not just unpacking for random people. You're following a woman as she goes through her life, her childhood room, her first apartment, moving in with someone, and then upgrading the house. There's so many fun little details. She carries a passion for art, and you can see her carry the same things with her. She enjoys playing tabletop RPGs and collecting figures, and she hates it when I put the frisbee on top of the kitchen shelves, but like, where else would it go, okay? There's no front door to put it next to. The game clearly has so much love put into it, and again, the art looks great, but it's really just not for me. I'm not huge on puzzle games, I'm not a huge neat freak, I just kind of put stuff wherever it'll go, so the game doesn't speak to me. However, I am glad that it exists. I know multiple people who like this game. 97% of the people who own this game on Steam have beaten the first level. That is an insanely high statistic. The developers should be proud that they found such a good audience who care about their work. For comparison, my favorite video game, Cassette Beasts, the achievement for unlocking your first partner like 10 minutes into the game has an 89% collection rate on Steam. People love this game. My personal experience of not enjoying doesn't mean that it's a bad game. If anything, it shows that I probably need to slow down a bit. I need to find it in myself to relax and enjoy games like this. Find a way that organization can be fun and relaxing. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to get super serious there. Let's just maybe go over some familiar ground. Here Comes Niko is a game that I've talked about before on this channel. It's a cute collect-a-thon platformer with a small but emotionally charged story. The game makes an effort to be cute and cheery with fun writing and character interactions. Something recurring with all of these games in the video is that I really like the artwork. They all have to find a way to be nice and relaxing, and I think that lends them to be very pleasant more often than not. They're often happy and bright, and it's all very endearing. They usually have just enough depth to pop, but end up a little bit restricted, which can birth new ideas. Here Comes Niko nails that style perfectly. I think this game's art style really helped me fall in love with it. The character expressions are fun, the designs are simple and clear, and there's a lot of fun gags to just love. The game isn't just style over substance though, it's a fun platformer. The movement isn't as in-depth as a Pseudo Regalia or a Mario Odyssey, but it still feels good to control, and that's important. It's a simple moveset which matches the rest of the game. There's a lot of stuff to collect too. Coins, cassette tapes, sunflower seeds, and messages and bottles. The goals are also varied. Sometimes it's a minigame where you need to jump into the water to catch fish, a parkour game inside a messed up arcade, planting flowers in the right order, or giving cassette tapes to people. There's a lot to do and a lot of people to speak to, and the game always finds new ways to keep it fresh. I think the best term to describe this game is charming. There's a lot of fun little things to do. You can paint for these rebels, talk to the best looking frog to exist, or chat to a character from my all-time favorite platformer. There's a lot to explore in this world. These levels are packed with secrets, and there's so much to love. I call this piece of art 5 hot dogs. Since I like platformers so much, I was also able to find another that I just knew I wanted to discuss at some point. Caravan Sandwich is a game where you got a big van. You need to explore the desert to help out a small village and uncover secrets. To be fair, it's less of a platformer and more so an exploration game with platforming elements. And whilst the traversal is fun, it's no good if the world is boring, which it isn't. The world, color-wise, might be a bit on the bland side with a bunch of grays, browns, and tans, but in the center of your screen is always a yellow van or teal jacket, which just really stands out. The world also has this really nice painted look. Streaks of color and splotches decorate the desert and surrounding forest. There's always something for you to do. You can collect components, navigate a platforming challenge, create an upgrade, or talk to people for quests. It's a very basic open world-esque structure, but because the game gives you a big van to drive around, it really doesn't feel as empty as a lot of other open worlds tend to. The game also has this underlying sci-fi theming. Whilst the story does take place in a futuristic world, the most you'll really see of it is in the first 3 minutes of the game and the ending, which I won't spoil. Yeah, people use futuristic tech, but you could be forgiven for forgetting that with how grounded the world is. I really like futuristic sci-fi. It's my personal favorite genre and look for like anything, and I feel like it really adds a nice extra bit of flavor to this game. And I kind of apologize for not having a ton to say about the game. I really liked it and I look back on it fondly, but I beat it in a couple days while I was sick, so my memories aren't exactly clear. However, I will say that the game is very endearing. There's a lot of characters you can help, and they're all super enjoyable. The soundtrack is also nice and calm. But there's another very common type of these chill games that we've yet to touch. Town builders. Gordlets is a fun little building game that I feel like needs more items. I like what's there and the little guys are super cute, but I often felt somewhat restricted in what I could make. That's not to say I disliked it. In fact, I think it's a really solid choice for a game to relax with, but there's only so many ways to design a house when you only have a few choices for beds, bathrooms, and kitchens. I feel like the game works way better when designing an island. Where the interior decorating can feel limiting, the outside decorating feels liberating. There's so many more things to do and create. Parks, playgrounds, ruins, an outside theater. While designing stuff outside, I never felt as though I was running out of options. Instead, I kept discovering new stuff. I think a part of this comes down to decoration. Like I said before, I'm not much of an organizer, but I'm also not much of a designer. That's why I asked for help from so many people and why Arson is credited in like all of my videos. Gordlets is fun, and if that's your thing, then you'll enjoy it, but it's sort of the Animal Crossing effect. I liked it a lot more when I felt like just another person living in the town, rather than the god mayor of everything. If you really like that decorating aspect and designing tons of rooms, then this game is for you, but if you just want to make little set pieces, well, there's another game for that. Tiny Glade looks absolutely gorgeous. That's not a hot take, that's a cold hard fact. This game is just a small little scene builder. You're not going to make big towns, you're going to make photos. A lot of the game can feel odd. For example, you can't add a door to a wall without a path, but limitation can breed creativity. Stairs smooth out when they're laid flat, so why not use them to add a bit of depth to an otherwise plain wall? There's a lot that you can do. Sure, it'll all end up looking pretty medieval themed, but you have so many options for color, paint wear, decorations, land height, water. The entire game is designed to be customized by you. You could create a little house or a big castle. There's so many tools at your disposal, and I don't even think I've used all of them. Unfortunately, there's not a ton to comment on about the game. What you see is what you get. If you can think it, you can probably do it. The game is designed to accommodate what you want with all kinds of things. Towers, fences, lamps, banners. There's so much possible to make that describing the game doesn't really work. Don't be mistaken though, this is probably one of my favorite games that I discussed in this video. It's just that the game describes itself to you as you move and work. But man, working sounds hard, and there's no way that I can make it fun, right? Well, Power Wash Simulator is a...
Hey man, can I talk now?
You know, I was kind of like in the middle of...
Oh, sorry.
No, it's...
No, go on, it's fine.
You're already here and manifested. I'm gonna go take a smoke.
Right. This is Power Washing Simulator. Power Washing Simulator is just about as simple as it sounds. It is a game that simulates power washing. You're given a dirty environment and all the right tools to clean it. But let's talk about that environment, because Power Washing Simulator, although having its own unique levels, actually has levels from other pieces of media. These include Wallace and Gromit, Warhammer, Back to the Future, SpongeBob, Tomb Raider, and Shrek? Now, each and every one of these environments, whether it be original, but especially the crossovers, feels like there was a lot of passion put into each and every environment that was built. It feels like the people who were developing the game were genuine fans of every single franchise that was put into this game as a crossover, and that is something that's really refreshing to see. Hey, I'm washing here! Now, moving away from the locations, let's talk about the tools at your disposal. Now, the white nozzle is the weakest, not in terms of practicality, but in terms of pressure. It just isn't going to wipe off nearly as much dirt as any of the other nozzles I'm going to mention. However, it makes up for that by covering a larger surface area. But what if you still want to cover a decent chunk of surface area but don't want to sacrifice pressure? Well, in that case, the green nozzle might be for you, because it just exerts a little more pressure, but only sacrifices a little bit of surface area that the white does have. Does the green not have enough pressure for you? No, I feel that. That's why my personal favorite is the yellow nozzle. The yellow nozzle exerts just enough pressure to get all those mucky spots without risking too much surface area. So it is a perfect in-between between the white and green nozzle and the red nozzle. The red nozzle just shoots a single beam. It's as simple as that. It's fantastic in most circumstances, but it just doesn't cover enough surface area. The black nozzle is a spinny red nozzle. Yeah, that's about it. This is rather controversial, but I don't really like soap. Now, soap is the biggest surface area, having a cone rather than the flat cones on everything else. There's a bunch of different kinds of soaps, ranging from stone to wood to glass, all to clean that specific material. However, you only get a certain amount per level, and once you run out, you cannot use any more soap of that variety for that level. Aside from your trusty power washer, you do have other equipment you can pick up off the ground. For example, ladders, step stools, and scaffolding that can help you reach higher up places. Maybe it's just me, but I never really remembered that as a feature until I looked to my right after cleaning a very, very tall wall and seeing the scaffolding next to me, and then just getting viscerally angry. Freehand mode lets you keep your camera in a single spot while letting you spray anything in your path, but it is yet another feature I always forget about. Now, Power Washing Simulator is a great game, but I don't think the fun of Power Washing Simulator really comes from playing the game. It comes from the conversations you have with your friends while doing such a menial task. Yeah, Firstborn is always a good one. Like, because if you start with that, then the next things you ask for are going to be, like, a little bit less absurd. That's where Galactus went wrong, I think. Okay, give me the planet, then give me the child, then give me like two sandwiches from Jimmy John's. And then he would have gotten 2 sandwiches from Chili John's, because that would have been so much easier.
I really like the idea that Galactus just really likes Jimmy John's. I can tell this is a Quiznos. Are you done talking about cleaning feces out of the skate park?
Yeah, man, thanks for having me on. I'm honestly just glad I didn't have to die this time.
Huh? Okay, moving on from that. I don't really find Power Wash Simulator too relaxing. Stuff being covered in the tiniest little pieces of dirt that are impossible to get out is something that I find frustrating in real life, and I really don't want to live that life inside of a video game. I can absolutely understand why people like this game, but this just ended up frustrating me more than anything else. Multiplayer was fun though, despite several desyncing issues. I do really like the idea though. A game where you take something dirty and work with it to become clean is a really fun idea. It's just not something that really works for me. The game requires you to be extremely precise with cleaning off dirt to a specific degree that it irritates me. I think another problem is the scale of missions. The second level took me 50 minutes to do. That's a long time to be stuck in one area. Unfortunately, this game just didn't hit for me. Moving on to another first-person cozy game, Slime Rancher is a pretty interesting game.
Okay,
it's effectively
Hello, my name is Arsonist NPC, aka Arson, aka NPC. If you'll give me just a moment of your time, I'd like to talk to you about Slime Rancher. This is one of my favorite games ever. Not that you can tell. It's a weird take on a farming sim. Instead of farming crops or selling eggs from chickens, you sell plorts from slimes. And you get the plorts by feeding the slimes. Don't think about it, okay? You don't even have to touch them. You have this vacuum thing you use to pick them up. Ignore how the wiki says people eat and drink them. It's fine. Let me give you a little lesson. Each slime has their own food preference. The tabby slime, for example, is a carnivore, and its favorite food is the stony hen. Here's the rock slime, who's a vegetarian and likes the heartbeat the best. Or the honey slime, which is a frugivore and prefers the mint mango. Slimes that eat their favorite food produce double the plorts, otherwise they just make one. When you're ranching your slimes, you need to balance the slimes you're feeding with the plots you use to grow their food. I personally like keeping all my veggie slimes in one area with a few veggie gardens off to the side. Maybe a silo over here. If I made a rad boom largo, I can keep them out of harm's way. Oh right, largos. If you feed a slime the plort of a different slime type, the two will combine and create a hybrid largo slime. Largo, whatever. These slimes produce plorts of both slime types, and they inherit their diets as well. Take the tabby and rock slimes from earlier. A tabby rock largo will eat both meat and veggies, and will have two favorites, stony hens and heartbeats. Feeding them either of these foods will make it produce double plorts all the same, which means you get 4 total, 2 of each type. You might be thinking, if you get so many plorts from largos, why would you ever keep anything else? Well, there is a risk. If a largo slime eats a third plort type, it'll turn into a tar, a creature that only exists to feed, and it doesn't have an appetite for food. No, it has an appetite for slimes. And you. They can be killed by like a few splashes of water though, so whatever. I also only play on casual mode, so they don't even spawn. Alright, enough about the mechanics. A brief overview of the story. Basically, your name is Beatrix LeBeau, and you're living on the far, far range. You had a special someone back home, Casey, but they had a music career that was just taking off, and you were always the outdoorsy type, and neither of your dreams matched any way you turned them. So, you packed your bags and left for the range. Rise and shine. Hi, Bea. What's it like to sleep for a whole year? Did you dream? I can't imagine what that's like. 7Z puts you in a pod and the lights out for all that time. Wow. What's the far, far range like? Have you started exploring? Is the air as clear as they say? I bet it's really beautiful. I'm probably asking too many questions. I bet you have a lot of work to do on that ranch. I still can't believe it's yours now. I guess I better leave you to it and just keep it short. Good luck, Bea. If anyone can make it out there, it's you. Okay, enough of that. Let me tell you about the art. Oh, this game has one of my favorite art styles I've ever seen. Maybe even my top favorite. Easily top 3. The landscapes, the colors, the creatures, the skins, the UI, the people, especially Victor. It's all just so gorgeous. Even the tar has these beautiful oil slicks on it, and this onion I just forged has really pretty pink swirls, and the dirt is glittery. This is lava dust you get from letting a pump thing work at the ground. You use it to craft item teleporters, and I want to drink it. This game has a built-in screenshot button, which might not be a good thing, because my screenshot folder has 144 files, and I genuinely don't want to delete any of them because they're all just so pretty. Shout out to the Secret Styles Boom Slime, this thing has to make up at least a third of my screenshots folder. Like, look at these colors, it's like they were hand-picked to appeal to me specifically. Pink and blue and white, not even mention the sunsets, the skies in this game are gorgeous. At least an hour of my playtime has just been spent admiring the stars. But with all this being said, is Slime Rancher actually a cozy game? I think if you're looking at just the gameplay, not really, no. It's cozy in the same way Stardew Valley is cozy. You can min-max the farm with the highest profit crops, exploit every game mechanic to make as much money as possible, throw everything to the side for the sake of money, or you can go at your own pace, admiring the scenery, indulging in the personal aspects. It's cozy if you give it space to breathe. It's nice. Also, there's a second game I haven't played. Okay, you can have your video back. Sorry for taking it or whatever.
Slime Rancher is a game that I remember playing when I was younger. I was 12 when it released, and I remember playing it a lot on my Xbox. It's a fun game, but the way that I play must be horrible for everyone else to watch. I tried to exhaust every option I have before moving on, which this game really doesn't seem to be the biggest fan of. Despite that, Slime Rancher has a lot of really interesting game design stuff. Largos in particular are really neat. Should you combine two slimes that are similar so it's easier to maximize output, or combine everything with a pink so you can easily farm it. There's a lot of choices you can make for your farm that makes the game really interesting. Also, I love the phosphor slimes and fire slimes, they're my favorites. The next game we have also involves a bit of water. It's a really simple, oh my goodness, I can hear footsteps.
Phil, follow me. We need to go fishing right now.
What?
No time for questions. The fate of the world depends on this.
No, stop, I'm trying to record.
Oh no, we don't just need to go fishing. We need to go wet fishing.
Oh, God.
Before Phil mentioned that he worked on this video, I haven't played this game in about a year. I kinda didn't want to play it alone, and I mostly played it with a few friends whenever they were streaming it, and outside of that, I never got an urge to play it alone. Especially since the game kinda hates me and just randomly crashes whenever it feels like it. I don't blame the game for that, my setup just needs a major overhaul. But yeah, where was I? Yeah, the fishing game. It's pretty neat, I like the art style, it gives me heavy Animal Crossing vibes. You can pick between either a dog or a cat avatar, and there's a lot of customizable options in terms of clothing, fur color and miscellaneous accessories. The main gameplay loop involves you fishing up random stuff, selling it at these molehills to this cat fella, stocking up on bait while you're there, and going to this frog sage guy to upgrade your fishing abilities. You can also buy other fishing rods, lures, and these buddies that catch fish occasionally for you. Whenever you catch something, there's like this bar that goes down, and at certain points you have to click your mouse button like crazy to overcome it. At the beginning the blockades are rather low, but the more you catch, the higher it gets. A friend of mine witnessed ones about 500 once. I have no idea how big it can get. Like I said, I barely touched the game in a year. The overworld's pretty dope. It has some neat secrets, of which I am not going into much detail so I don't spoil anything. There's a considered spoiling if there's no story to begin with. Who knows? I'm not getting paid to be all philosophical in here. In fact, I probably won't be getting paid at all. I hope we get more updates in the future that give you more customizable options. Maybe some bird avatar you can unlock. Oh wait, we won't. Because some humanized participation trophies decided it would be a great idea to dox and harass the web fishing dev. This is why we can't have any nice things. Where are you? I'm done.
I don't care.
What do you mean?
You've all ruined my video.
I think you mean improved it.
Okay, just get out of my studio now.
So, when do I get paid?
You don't.
Any sort of compensation?
You drive me to drink. I like web fishing. A lot, really, actually. I think that it's super cute. Also, this will be the closest persona you get from me for a while, and I know there's a lot of furries in my audience, so take this to tide you over. The fishing mechanics are complicated, but it's just enough to add depth, but not enough to where grinding it out feels bad. It really is a shame that this game will never get updates again. It has a lot of potential, and I really like what it does already. But, that's it, I guess. I'm throwing in the towel on this. People just won't leave me alone. Ironically, the video about trying to relax and chill out ended up one of the more chaotic ones, I suppose. That's a good thing, I guess. That means people really care about these games. There's clearly a market for them, and it's okay if it's not one that I'm really meant for. These cozy games are designed to be a form of relaxing. They're meant to be escapism for people as they get home from work, unwind for the day, or just be something nice to do while you eat lunch. They're not designed to challenge your mind and force you to master skills to overcome difficult challenges. They're meant to do the opposite. If you're not kicking back and listening to their waves, then you're doing it wrong. If you can't get sucked into the world, then you're doing it wrong. I think I enjoyed my time looking over these games. Tiny Glade, Web Fishing, and Here Comes Niko are games that I think I'll remember and revisit every now and then. If you want to try out any of the games that I discussed here, I'd suggest one of those three. But there's also games I played for this video that didn't make it in, like Ink, which is another pretty interesting game that I would recommend. I think the idea I had going into this at the start ended up correct. They're not really my cup of tea, not usually what I like to spend my time doing, but I'm glad that these games exist. There's a lot of people out there who need these games. Over the years, gaming has become one of the most popular hobbies in the world, and while they do have large competitive player bases, most people who play games are casual gamers. I know I've repeated this point a lot, but it's worth repeating. We need games like these. A lot of the larger voices in gaming spaces will only talk about what new shooter game is out or what new big PlayStation game just dropped and ignore everything else. There's a massive casual market out there, but it seems to mostly exist with mobile games, and that's a shame. Some of these games are really creative, but because of their status, it's very likely that they won't get the flowers they're due. So hey, if a game on this list tickled your fancy, then go check it out. Support smaller developers. There's a lot of really cool stuff out there, and it'd be a shame if your only experience with it is some guy giving you a brief overview of it in a YouTube video. Maybe you'll discover that these games are what you've been looking for. Be brave and take a chance on something new. But I think that's all from me for now. Like and subscribe if you've enjoyed what you've seen. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.